For those of you who might not know, I am actually originally from Germany. I grew up there for quite a few years before moving here to the United States, so when it comes to this time of year, my holiday/Christmas celebrations are kind of a fun mixture of both. I remember knowing about Santa Claus, Weihnachtsmann, St. Nikolaus, and the Christkind all when I was younger, but I don't think I kept them all straight, and I still don't really. I just love capturing this cozy time of year where outside, at least for me, the air is a little bit crisper, the days are a bit shorter, and you just want to cozy up with a lovely tea and get to some crafting. In line with a lot of other creators around this time of year, I thought this time I'd do my own version of Vlogmas, but instead I would do the 12 days of Craftmas. So my hope is that for every other day leading up to the 24th of December, which is when I celebrate Christmas, that I guess that's the German day typically to celebrate Christmas. In the US it's more the 25th. Anyway, I'll be releasing a hopefully crafty-ish related video, something to do with this time of year for me, and I hope that even if you aren't really big on celebrating Christmas, you can still enjoy doing some cozy crafting with me. Today is day one of Craftmas, and today I want to make some crochet snowflakes. I'll eventually be turning these into ornaments to hang on my Christmas tree. The pattern that I'm using is available for free online from the 1950s, and I believe that these snowflakes were originally meant as brooches or brooches to wear on your clothes, but I'm going to be making them slightly larger to make them ornaments for myself instead. I'll walk you through kind of the first one in a little bit more detail to see how I translated a vintage pattern to modern terms. And then the next few I'll just show you how I did them quickly. So I'll be making 3 snowflakes this time and decorating with those. If you'd like to follow along as I'm crocheting this snowflake, I've decided to do this particular snowflake pattern, and I will leave a link to the pattern in the description box down below. I'm using size 10 crochet thread, and I'm also using 1.5mm hook for the crochet hook. This snowflake is made in 4 rounds, and I'm starting with the first round here, where you're going to chain 4 and then join with a slip stitch to form a ring. Then you want to do a chain 8 and a double crochet in the middle of the ring. Remember that these are all American crocheting terms, so if you want to look up how to do these, make sure that you're looking at the American version of crocheting instructions because American and UK terms are different. After you've done that bit of the instructions, it's time to chain 5 and then double crochet in the ring. And you want to repeat that 3 times around. For your last one, you want to chain 2 and then double crochet in the 3rd stitch of the first chain. You now should have 6 loops that go around the center of your snowflake ring. If you're ready to move on to the second round, it's time to chain 3 and then single crochet over the double crochet you just made. So you're almost crocheting into the same space. Your repeating stitches are going to be a chain 7 and then a single crochet in the next loop. Then chain 3 and single crochet in that same loop, and repeat that all the way until you reach back to the end. Where you're going to chain 3 and then triple crochet in the double crochet that you started off with. You should still have 6 extra loops in this second round, and if you're following along, then you can maybe compare what you're doing to what mine looks like to see if you've got the right idea. Now we're on the last 2 rounds, and this is where it can get a little bit tricky, so just bear with me as I try to describe exactly how this goes. So we're going to chain 3 and then single crochet in that triple crochet that we made in the last round. And now our repeating set of stitches is going to be a chain 9, and then single crochet in the 4th stitch from the hook for a picot, chain 3, single crochet in the same space for another picot, and then chain 3 and slip stitch in that same space, and that's how you get a picot cluster. So it should look like you have 3 little picots together. You're going to repeat that twice. You have a total of 3 picot clusters. And the next thing you're going to do is chain 5 and then single crochet in the next chain 7 loop, really anywhere, but I like to do the tip. And then you're going to chain 3 and single crochet again in the same space and repeat all the way back from the beginning, where you chain 9 and single crochet in the 4th stitch from the hook for the picot cluster. You repeat all of that so you have 5 in total. Until you get to having to fill the last space. And this is just an abbreviated version of your repeats. You're going to chain 9, single crochet in the 4th stitch from the hook for the picot, and then repeat all the same exact instructions as you did previously for your 3 picot clusters. And then at the end, you're going to chain 5, and then instead slip stitch in your triple crochet that you started the round with, and at this point you can cut your thread. This is a little bit more complicated, but it's already starting to look much more like the picture that we expect. We are on the 4th and final row of this snowflake, and we need to start by reattaching our working thread. So we want to target the 3rd picot cluster of any of the group of 3 that you've done previously, and all you're going to do is slip stitch your working yarn into that one. Now we're going to do a chain 11, and this next bit, when you read the instructions, might seem a little confusing, but at the end we want a cluster of 7 picots together. So I'll just walk you through it here quickly, and hopefully watching and kind of keeping the 7 picots in mind, it'll help you visualize it a little bit better. So you're going to slip stitch in the 4th stitch from the hook for 1 picot, chain another 4, slip stitch again in the 4th stitch from the hook for a picot, and then do that one more time. So you should now have 3 picots. At this point, you're going to chain 3 and slip stitch in the same space. This picot is kind of going to be at the tip of this particular 7 picot cluster. And we're going to chain 3 again and slip stitch in the same space. And now we're kind of working down on the other side of this picot cluster. We're going to chain 3 and slip stitch in the next space, working on the opposite side, and then chain 3 again and slip stitch in that same space. Did you follow that? I hope that's not too confusing. When this cute little picot cluster is done, you're going to chain 7 and single crochet in the center picot of the next picot cluster. And you're going to repeat that twice. So you're going to again chain 7, single crochet in the center picot of the next, chain 7, single crochet in the center picot of the next picot cluster, and that should bring you to the next section to repeat all of that again for the point of this snowflake. You go all the way around until you have 6 of these points, and it's time to cut the thread. I know this last round might be very confusing. I hope trying to show it to you and talking it through might help others to recreate this kind of snowflake for themselves or see how I translate these patterns a little bit better. But here is our first snowflake done. The first little crochet snowflake is off of my hook. I think it looks super cute, but it is still maybe a little bit wobbly in appearance. However, that's gonna improve a lot when we block it and starch it, so it'll maintain its shape when we want to hang it up or display it somewhere. But before I weave in any ends or do any of that starching, I do want to crochet the other 2 snowflakes that are in this pattern book. And instead of going through step by step and instruction by instruction on these last 2, I'll just show you the results after every single row. So if you want to replicate this yourself, you gotta get a little bit of practice of reading the instructions, and then you can compare it to what mine looks like at that end of the row or end of the round and see if you're pretty close. Also, this is just my interpretation of the instructions. You might disagree with some of the things that I do, so this is all up for us to have fun and to create some pretty decorations for this winter time. Now I have 3 really cute snowflakes. Well, to be honest, I ended up making a duplicate of each one. So I have 6 really cute snowflakes. But if I were to go right now and try to hang them up as decoration, I mean, it wouldn't look terrible, but they are a little bit floppy. So I want to make these nice and stiff so that they stand out like the snowflakes in the illustration. So I'm going to go ahead and starch them. There's a few ways that I could potentially starch them. I'm sure you can look online and find many options for doing this. I think I've seen glue, I've seen ironing starch. I'm personally going to make myself some rice starch to make them nice and stiff and stand out straight so that when I hang them on my tree, I can see the full effect of the design. So let's go make some rice starch for that. To make my rice starch, I just boil a lot of rice for quite a long time on the stove, and then I put it all through a sieve so that I separate my rice and the boiled water from that. Once it's cooled down a little bit, I then added my crocheted snowflakes to it so it's fully soaked in the starch solution, and then pinned them out, stretched them to shape, and waited for them to dry. And I think looking at all of them together, they look so cute. I'm so excited to see how they all turn out once they're fully starched. Also, not to worry, I do save the rest of the starch solution for future craft projects or any laundry starching that I need to do, and the cooked rice doesn't go to waste either. I made myself some red bean paste filled homemade mochi. It was really good. Even though a few of my snowflakes have a few mistakes, I still think that they turned out really well, and I can't wait to hang them up on my tree. Oh, right, before I forget, I was at the grocery store earlier today at Trader Joe's, and they had the 12 days of Scentmas, and I just thought that I had to get it so that we could try one new candle. Whee! So that we could try one new candle together every day. So let me go grab that. I love the packaging on this. I feel like the design is almost like a tarot card, at least that's what these edges and different design features remind me of. And it's Trader Joe's 12 Days of Scented Candles, and I just honestly couldn't resist. I think it's so beautiful. They have a diagram. Oop! Careful, girly. They have a diagram of the anatomy of a candle flame and numbered candles for us to try. So today is day 1. Day 1 today. We have rhubarb. Oh, that smells really nice. Nutella, come here. What do you think? Thoughts? Not many. Okay, let's go light this and enjoy it. All right, I think that does it for day 1 of Craftmas. I hope that you enjoyed this. I'll see you again the day after tomorrow with another cozy, crafty video. Feel free to check out the description for links to my Engineering Knits Etsy shop, where you can find my historical knitting patterns that I've translated to modern terms, or to my Twill Threads Etsy shop, where I have mug designs and stickers that you can buy, although not produced and shipped by me, just designed by me. I'll see you again very, very soon. Bye!